أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We are towards the tail end of the chapter in this book, The Ideal Muslim, and in this chapter on the Muslim and his children, the Muslimah and her children. And in this chapter we talked about several aspects of raising children that we can't all summarize right now, but we're on this section, and in this particular section is a very important section, because this is a principle in medicine, in the medical field. If you can help somebody, you help them. And if you can't help them, you can't help them. But the one thing that you cannot do is to cause somebody harm. So the first principle in the medical field is do no harm. And the same way, when it comes to raising children and you're being with family, even if you don't have children, just being in a household with spouses or children or parents or siblings, is don't do any harm to anybody. That's the first thing. Whether you can help somebody, make them grow, make them happy, make them fulfill their rights above and beyond what they need, what is required of us, that's all extra. But the first thing is that you do no harm. And when it comes to your children, you want to make sure that you do no harm. And so in this section, the Shaykh, he says that the Muslim is alert, he is conscious, cognizant of everything that may have influence on your children. That you have to be deliberate, you have to be thoughtful of what are the things that are going to influence my children? What are the things that influence our children? Tell me. Huh? Manners? Whose manners? The dad's manners. The first answer, very good. The dad's manners. The mother's manners, the father's manners. Right? This is the very first thing. That when they see your manners, right, are your manners causing them harm? And we're gonna talk about something. In fact, I just learned about this very recently, about when it comes to counseling and psychology. I'm going to tell you in a minute, but I want to hear what else. How else can we potentially harm our children? Or what are the influences around that can harm our children? Yes. Television, yeah. Cell phone, mobile devices, right? Social media, YouTube, right? Watching TV, Netflix, yes. Arguments, very good. So first the brother said, the manners of the father, or the manners of the mother, right? And then this brother said, the manners argument, because for an argument you have to have two people, right? It's not just one. Now you have two people. And two people that might be arguing in front of the children, and both of them don't care about the children. Because how many people does it take to argue? How many people? At least two, right? So if let's say the father is being harsh and is yelling at the mother, for it to be an argument, it has to be two people. Right? And so at that time, during that argument, what's clear is that neither of them care about the children. They don't care about the harm that goes to the children. And what I'm going to tell you right now, right after we have this discussion, is the foundation. And subhanAllah, when I learned about this, I was really surprised. And I'm in the medical field, so I mean, these are things that even I just learned this. That the age at which a child makes up his mind or her mind about the world, you'll be shocked. So what are the other influences? TV, you said arguments, what else? Huh? Your environment, right? Where you live, the people you're around, right? What else? What else is part of the environment? Yes? School, right? School is part of the environment. What else is part of the environment? Friends. Friends, absolutely critical to have good friends. SubhanAllah, until, some of us, so I want you to, let me do this. I want to see a survey. Raise your hand if you have ever made dua for Allah to bless your children with good friends. Raise your hand if you made dua. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think it's probably an overestimate though, right? Because most of the time we don't think about who our friends are of our children. And more importantly, we don't make dua for it. We don't make dua for it because we take it for granted, right? You have a child, they're 2 years old, 5 years old, they start going to school, they have friends, they have more friends, they have more friends. You never think about it. You come to the masjid, they have more friends in the masjid, and you don't think about it. But to have righteous, pious company is very, very important. So all of these things are influences on the child. And so here's the thing that I learned recently that I wanted to share, and especially it's very pertinent. In psychology, and I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not trying to teach you this as if I was, but I'll share what I learned. In psychology, these are called core beliefs, especially of cognitive behavioral therapy. And the core belief is developed by a child in his mind. They don't tell you this, but the child learns, these are 3 statements. Statement number 1 is, I am blank. So the child fills it in for himself. I am what? I am liked, I am loved, I am wanted, I am, I'm somebody who is desired to be around. I'm not and the opposite, these are all good things, right? The opposite is I'm a troublemaker. I'm a nuisance. I'm in the way of people. I'm hated. I'm not wanted, right? So the first thing is, and this is a child, and I'm going to tell you what age this happens. I am blank. That's the first thing. Therefore, they say others are what? If the child feels I am loved, what do you think he's going to say? Others are what? Others are loving, right? Others are loving. They're kind, they're generous, they're helpful. And therefore the world is loving. The world is a good place. The world is a good place to be. Right? So they made this core belief about the world at what age? Tell me. 10, 4, 6, 5, 7. So brother over there, he says 5. That brother says 2. And that brother is right. 2 years old. 2 years old. Before they can even talk, they have made up their mind about the belief of this world, core beliefs. And it's not exact, right? It's not exactly 2 years. So 3 years, maybe 4 years, maybe 5 years. But definitely within the first 5 years. Definitely within the first 5 years. Because of what they see, right? What they see between who? Between the parents. The vast majority of the time, between the parents. That's it. We speak with love and respect, or we speak with disrespect and hatred. The way to be heard is to yell and scream. Or the way to be heard is to appreciate and ask nicely and kindly. Right? These are core beliefs that a child makes. And what's interesting is that these beliefs, they also affect how you are when you grow up. And how you are with your own spouse. So this was an eye-opener for me to hear that these beliefs are developed at such a young age. Now, there's all of these influences that we just talked about, all of them you can do a 1 hour long workshop. The environment, the friends, the school, the tablets and the devices, right? I did a khutbah 1 or 2 weeks ago. If you haven't watched it, I encourage you to watch it. If you have children, you want to watch that, no matter what age they are. If you're planning to have children, you want to watch that. Listen to that khutbah. Because, the amount of harm we are doing to our children with devices, I cannot express to you in words. It's hard to explain the full extent of the damage you're causing to their brain, to their psychology, to their even their physical health. Like the people who are addicted to devices, they're overweight, they're unfit, they're unhealthy. And then those same people, because they're addicted to one thing, they become addicted to other things. Like those are the same people, the same children who don't want to eat healthy food. They see a juice box, they want the juice. They cry and they cry, and you said, okay, the only way for me to make him stop crying is by giving him the juice. Right? And so if you guys want, we can talk about, I think in the khutbah we talked about a lot of the health effects of social media. We can talk about more, okay? We talked about a lot of them already, but we can talk about even more, because there are tons and tons of them. But you cannot give your devices to your children. You cannot. Okay, imagine you're on the road, and your son or your daughter says, I have to use the bathroom. Okay, and so you stop on the side of the road, and you say, the only place open, even the gas station, let's say this is Christmas Day, everything is closed. The only thing open is a nightclub. You're going to tell your daughter to go in there use the bathroom? Or your son to go, right? But what we give them in the phone is infinitely worse. Not 10 times worse, not 100 times worse, not 1,000 times worse, infinitely worse. And we have no idea that we're doing that. So the first principle, like I said, in the medical field, the first principle is do no harm. So whether you are a great parent or you're a good parent, you're an okay parent, and you don't know everything that you should be doing, you want to make sure you're not doing what is harming them. So maybe making them good and better and great is not in your capacity because you don't know those things. That's okay, as long as you're learning. But at the very least, you should not be causing them harm. Nowadays, a 2-year-old is not eating. You know what we do? Put on TV for them so we can feed them well. I mean, this is like nonsense. Complete nonsense. Getting them addicted to one thing just so they can have their food. Right? Instead of teaching them the value, the importance of eating, and the importance of listening and being respectful and obeying and to follow instructions, we're teaching them exactly the wrong kind of things. So this is absolutely critical. And it's like one thing will lead to another. One thing, you say, oh, this is just cartoon, there's nothing bad in this. Okay, after that cartoon, they're going to watch another one, and something else. And so it continues from there. And so children, and even nowadays, the YouTube video, it'll look like cartoon, but once you watch it, somewhere in the middle, there'll be some weird scene in it. And you don't know because you're not watching. The children are watching. So there is a lot of harm with that. And inshallah, I think that is sufficient to emphasize this time. But it's important for us to remember that these core values are formed at a very young age. And so before the age of 5, you want to give that child as much love as they can get. And this is why, subhanAllah, the research says 2 years. You know what else says 2 years? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? That's why you nurse them for 2 years. Right? At that time, you give them nothing else but connection and attachment to you. And and that time they realize, I am loved. I get care. I get hugs. I get, I'm taken care of. And that's the core belief you want them growing up with. Not that I'm not wanted, or that I'm hated, or that there's so much argumentation. The only way to get your way is to argue and to fight and to win yourself an argument, or to win yourself through a debate or something like that, or even physical altercations. So with that, yeah, brother, go ahead. Reprogrammed with a lot more love. A lot more love. After 2 years, even let's say first 5 years, if you want to program after first 5 years or within the first 5 years, you have to do it with a lot of love. And the love is not money. Most of the time we say, show them love. You say, oh, okay, I'm going to go buy them a game. No. They don't care about games. They can play at their friend's house. They can play. Love. Spend time with them. See what their interests are. See what they want to do. Do it with them. Take them places. Right? Be with them. The attachment has to be to you. The attachment has to be to you. And also, inshallah, when we finish this chapter, it's going to finish maybe in two more classes. We're going to talk about repair. Repair. So for those of us, you're like, oh, my children are way older than 2, older than 5. It's long past. Is this a lost cause? Inshallah, it's not. But it's going to take time, and it takes, from what I hear, and I'm no expert in this area, but it takes a lot more love. When they're 2, it takes less love. But once they pass that age, it takes a lot more love to reprogram them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from us and forgive our shortcomings. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to be the best parents possible. Jazakumullahu khairan wa assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.